Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of my videos. This one's a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about the cost of Japan when it comes to traveling for a month. I've seen a lot of videos where people talk about prices and different things, and everyone talks about how they might be inflated or not. I'm just going to show you how much I spent on my trip and kind of break down different little parts. I separated it by weeks. The 0 week means like stuff I paid before I actually um, left on the trip, and then some things to keep in mind. Um, my food was an estimate cost because when I bought things with cash or with credit card, it came very delayed and the names weren't very proper, so it was really hard for me to kind of keep up with it. So I rounded and just took estimates. My parents arrived for about a week, which helped reduce some of the costs when it came to food and hotels. And cash, I did buy a set amount of cash that I kind of used for a variety of everything: gifts, souvenirs, museums, shrines, temples, because some places were cash only for food, or shrines and temples or gifts. Like some places were cash only, some places I just needed to spend some cash. So I didn't really separate that for each specific thing. I just said I spent X amount on the cash. My weeks, I wrote them Sunday to Saturday because realistically I arrived Saturday night and woke up Sunday, so I kept that up for until I left. And my last week is 10 weeks. I don't know why I have a week 5. It's there's nothing there, but week 4 is a little bit longer because I left on a Tuesday. So I just extended the whole week, from Sunday to the following Tuesday. And yeah, I mean, without further ado, I'm just going to go over each of these. And yeah, so first up, of course, we got to get the flight. Now, this was how much it cost for a round trip flight when it came to flying from America. That's where I came from. Went there, came back. I was just kind of sitting on Kayak looking for details or deals, and eventually came across this and booked it. And yeah, that one hurt. And then I had to buy cash, get some cash. Um, the 9.15 was the fee that my bank had to add on top of it. So that was how much I spent on cash. I got a little under 700,000 for when it comes to, or 700 when it comes to cash transferred to yen. These are all American dollars, by the way, in case anyone was confused, not pounds. And yeah, I did end up spending all this cash except for maybe like $2 worth, maybe not even. So just kind of scattered throughout everything, as I already mentioned from before. Next up, we have the hostels and hotels. I did a variety of them. I was trying to live very frugally, live very cheap, below my means. And initially, I was, looking at hostels and hotel. I did more hotels in the beginning and towards the end. Um, and it ended up adding up. Like in the beginning, like I had more expensive stuff, and then towards halfway, I found some cheaper hostel options that were really nice. I was trying to save money where I could, and then my parents did help out a lot during week 3 and week 4. Week 4 is also just relatively high because I did book a hotel for like my last night, which ended up being $60, which is crazy. But these were these are my 3 big costs: the flight, the hotels, the cash. I wrote the prices for all these hotels, like kind of to separate for each week, but realistically, I bought it all before the trip, so all this stuff was already spent before, which helped out later on once it came to the actual trip. Next up, food and drinks. Again, this was a guess. This was totally not intentional, but for the most part, most of my meals were like $7 to $8, and I had, I think, three meals that ended up being over like 25. My most expensive one was definitely this week, where I had Kobe beef. I wanted to try it in Kobe. Never had it before or anything like that. I thought the best place to try it is where it comes from, best of the best. And it was my favorite meal, so it did not disappoint. I enjoyed a 7-course meal of that. And yeah, my parents kind of helped reduce the cost for eating. I tried to live below my means as much as I could and where I could. Next is gifts and souvenirs, because who doesn't? You can't go to Japan without buying something to bring home. The prices and everything are all kind of scattered, because most of the souvenirs or gifts I got I used with cash, because a lot of shops were cash only, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I made a few big purchases in here and here. You could kind of see, but for the most part, this part is obviously going to vary person to person. Kind of depends on how much space you have, how much you want to buy, what you want to buy, what you want to keep, and what you want to buy for friends or family. And the numbers, of course, are going to vary. But this is just for me personally. So then after that, we have trains. I did the bullet train every once in a while, and then I put a lot of money on the speaker card ahead of time, and it lasted for pretty much most of the trip. I just had to use it towards the end when I started to run out, but it did an awesome job. Ended up using all of it to last the end. The train ended up being a lot more cheaper. I didn't do the JR pass. I just got the Suica digital on my phone, transferred some money over, and boom. Easy. Most expensive thing was this up here. I don't know if you can see that, but that was the bullet train that I took from Tokyo all the way to Hiroshima. It's kind of expensive. It was expensive, but that's what all that price was. But for the most part, pretty cheap. This one also has like a $60. I didn't separate it, but this one was about $60 as well, because I had to take another bullet train. And yeah, I mean, trains are a lot cheaper than I thought. Oops. And we have this was temples or shrines or museums that I paid for, without cash, that I actually had like a credit card that I could use. I wouldn't expect it for most of these, but this first one was like the sumo fighting. That's the main expense, but most of these are just other things that I saw and did. But most of that price came out of the cash section, and most things that you saw are like less than $5, so it was fairly cheap and reasonable. And so, of course, the moment you've all been waiting for is the cost. Why is there two costs, you might ask? So this is my estimated total, which is adding all these. And then this was the actual, based on what my credit card statement says. And then, of course, this and this these were easy to add up. The flight, hotel, and cash. This was all kind of a guess, but it was about the same. Not too bad. This ended up being a lot cheaper of a trip than I anticipated, which helps a lot. And I'm glad it wasn't the other way around, where it ended up being a lot more expensive than it should have been. And yeah, this is how much I spent in an entire month traveling in Japan, which was surprisingly really cheap, and the most expensive thing, of course, being the flight. Who would have thought? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. This gives you a little bit better of an idea of how much it costs to actually travel, especially to this country from America. And if you want to see more stuff like this or like my type of content, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.